Then I will make something called a tech pack, which is more like this, but it'll also have stuff like dimensions of how tall it is, how wide it is.
Hey, ideators and entrepreneurs, CUNY Startups here. Welcome to CUNY and Beyond, the podcast dedicated to helping aspiring entrepreneurs through storytelling. We're excited to dive into the entrepreneurial endeavors of CUNY students, alum, and bonus entrepreneurs who are willing to share their valuable insights with you. Join us for today's show.
Tiffany Wu is a founder. She has started her own clothing brand. And what's unique about Tiffany is that she actually creates the sketches that go on the items of her clothing. So she's going to give us a quick tutorial today on how she kind of goes through that phase of creating something from scratch.
So I always come up with like an initial idea, and usually it comes from, I guess, the most randomest places you could think of, like a shower thought, or like the last thing I think about before I fall asleep. And I'm like, oh my God, this idea is so good. I need to write it down somewhere. And then when I actually start to work on the idea, it always starts off as a very concept draft of a sketch. For example, right here, I have a plushie that I thought about. And I thought it would be amazing as a keychain, and I thought it'd be so cute if I put them in these like bear outfits, and that was my initial idea. And the first thing I did was, it was like a model like this, where I kind of drew out, oh, I want it to be keychain like, so you have a keychain here, and I also wanted it to be a duck, of course, Duckingnice, and then a little mascot costume. And the first one I did was a bear, and I did a collection of 3 bears, and today I'm going to do a panda.
Awesome. Okay, I like pandas. They're cute. They fall a lot, but they're cute.
So this is how I usually start off. This is like my model. Just to keep it consistent, I just follow the general outline, but this outline, I made it myself from scratch. And then this is how we start. We usually start off with a little nose, a little mouth, just like that. And then, of course, the panda eyes. And when I'm drawing, I don't think that this is going to be my final draft, or this is going to be the one that I run with for sure. It's really a place for me to play with ideas and see what it would look like as a finished product, just like an idea of what that would look like. And then, of course, I make several iterations even before it goes off to the first round of sampling. I like to give it a little bow. So let's just give it a little bow right now. And then I want to give him a shirt, because pandas are not naked. And I give him some panda feet, like that. Just right off the top of my head. And I think the feet are also black, so we're going to go ahead and color that in.
Mm-hmm. And if someone was doing this, they don't have to worry about being too detail-oriented for this part?
This is like the initial concept. If you can imagine, like my first concept starts off like this with like a little bit of color. And then I'm like, pretend like maybe this ear is like too big. Let's make it a little smaller, And then we'll tweak it around and pretend I'm satisfied with this. Then I will make something called a tech pack, which is more like this, but it'll also have stuff like dimensions of how tall it is, how wide it is, and like a 360 view of the plushie, because this is what you give to manufacturers. And this is like, you have to explain your idea very clearly, because they're not you. They need to know like, oh, how big is it specifically? Like literally, like how big is this head part in comparison to the body? How big are these feet? How wide is it from the side, etc. And it's really a back and forth conversation with the manufacturer to really tweak it and to get it to be that vision that you originally thought it was going to be. We'll add some color to this cutie. I'm going to change my pencil. I really love using Procreate because it's so flexible, and of course I can take it everywhere, and pretty much everything I own is on here. So if this ever gets lost, I'm cooked. Do you want to pick a color for the shirt?
I love blue.
You love blue?
Yes.
Like what type of blue? Sky blue?
Sky blue, or like aquamarine.
Aquamarine?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll keep it like this for now. And the reason why I do this instead of doing like a full-on sketch is because I don't know what it looks like even without the color. And by playing it with this, like it took me maybe 2 minutes. It's a very good way of validating your idea even before, you invest money, more time, more energy into creating something as detailed as this, and then, the 360. So what's important for me is to validate a lot of ideas very quickly to see what's worth making it to sampling, making it all the way to the end of the production where it becomes a product. We're going to give it a little gray here. And I'm also thinking about what materials it should be made out of, like maybe like a fuzzy material to make it more furry, etc. And those are all like the small details that really make it special. Let's just say it's a blue ribbon, although that could be subject to change. Just like that. I think the paws are pink, so I'll do a little pink here. And also, I always match this to this piece right here. And then let's do a silver keychain. Okay. And then just like that, we have kind of a sketch to go off of, and I will probably make like 2-3 of them.
2 or 3.
Yeah, and then I'll be like, oh, which ones do I like? Should I try a different animal, etc.? And that is kind of how we get to a draft. And also I will do, like, you see these small details here, where it says Duckingnice here, ways of incorporating the branding into it in a more subtle way. This is like where I brainstorm all those ideas.
Oh, wow. Because technically that's kind of like your logo in a sense for those keychains. Do you have somewhere where you like save that and you could just copy and paste it? Or you literally always have to
No, I will never draw it. I always have a folder where all my logos are in. Okay. And all my, like, everything that I need is usually there because I learned my lesson. Like, for example, it's also here. I have it here. So you can imagine that my tech pack at the end, it will look something like, for example, this is a hang tech that I made. The tech pack always has information like how tall it is, very clear. I want like the die cuts. I also will include that into the description. And then when I send that off to manufacturers, they have a much better idea of what is it that I want. And it just makes it that much easier for them to get that done for me.
Awesome.
You know,
awesome.
You have to be very explicit. Like, we will also talk about how thick you want it, the quality, because not all quality is the same. So there's a lot of research taking it from just this design to a finished product.
To the finished product. I mean, do they send you like proofs? Like, how many proofs do they send?
So we will start off with an example that I have for these plushies. So this is the very first one right here, which is pretty close already. And I will make a lot of adjustments talking about, extend the bottom of the plush so that the feet are straight. I will show them a little diagram, right? You have to just do anything you can in order to make them understand, because they're not there. Like, it's not like you're in the office with them or you're on the production line and you're like, yeah, right here, like, that's not right. And also the time frame of it is around 2 weeks. So every time that you need to make another change, it will delay your project by 2 weeks. And so that's why it's so important to try to get as much of it done through every round as possible to optimize your supply chain. For example, right here, I would say add a thicker rib here, and I indicate where here is. And I give them, all the information that they need. I send this over to them, and this is sample 1, sample 2. We'll do like 3-4 samples usually, but hopefully less. It really does depend on the product. Specifically for creating something so 3D as is this, it will take a lot longer.
This is really cool. So like create something like just basically from your hands and then seeing it come into fruition after it's been made. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's really amazing because I think about the fact that this was just like an idea in my head. It wasn't even like fleshed out like this. It was just like, wouldn't it be cool if we did like a little plushie with a keychain, and then we like gave it this mascot, this costume, and then all these details come together, the branding, the quality, the shape, everything, it all comes together, and it just feels really rewarding. And also to see people use it and wear it, and they can feel how thoughtfully it was designed. It's something that you can't fake.
Thank you so much, Tiffany, for showing us how you get through this process.
No problem.
I'm horrible at drawing, so I'm a little practice on little sketches on the side.
Yes.
We are on part 2, where we're going to sit down with Tiffany and talk more about her business. So your business, Duckingnice, has been in business for how long? 6 years now?
No, we started in the end of 2021.
2021. Okay, so technically, I first met Tiffany at the first marketplace that the Baruch Center had in the December of 2022. It was like a winter thing.
Right.
Tiffany was selling out. It was like 3 days, and she sold out for all 3 days. People were coming and getting stickers and everything. So let's learn about how you started that business to begin with in 2021.
Okay, so in 2021, originally I started by creating a design for my boyfriend. I wanted to draw him something special for our anniversary, but I think when you're in a relationship for that long, it's hard to find something special to give, right? And so I wanted to do something custom since I'm an artist, and I drew him playing pool as a duck. So I drew him as a duck, basically. And I was like, okay, what could make this more special is to put this on a hoodie and give it to him as something custom. And I made a couple, not just for him, but also for a few of my friends, something very custom to their personality and their interests. And when I gave it to them, they loved it. And when they wear it out, I got a lot of inquiries, like they're being asked on the street, like, where is this from? How can I get one, etc. And that was the first moment that I realized, oh, there is like a market for this like type of custom merch that shares a bit of your personality in it.
Yeah, that's cool. When did it change where you're like, I need more support because I have more clients coming in?
So after that, I did my very first batch, which I thought it was going to be like a very small business, just something casual for me to do, especially since it was during COVID.
Yeah.
And my first batch was only 40 pieces. I went ahead and I gave that like a few pieces to one of my friends who's an influencer. And I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. You know, you can just wear it and just try it out, whatever. And that video actually blew up and it hit 25,000 likes.
Oh, wow.
And overnight, my business was like bombarded with customer inquiries for the design and everything. And that was when I realized, oh, like, we're going to need some supply. We're going to need some real supply. Yeah. And that was the first moment I thought like, oh, this could be a real business. This is how it feels to have like customers who are going to be consistent and want to come back. And this is maybe something I can grow long term.
Got it. So what was like the next step that you had to do then? Like it was that surplus of people like.
Yeah, that was that surplus.
Yeah.
It sold out my store and I only had 40 pieces. So it was not much to sell out. I think it was like $2,000, $3,000 right there. But you know, my whole store is gone. Yeah. So that was everything I had. And I did have to immediately make the plans to redo it. And I ran into a lot of issues initially in the supply chain because going from like, let's say 10, 20, 40 pieces to something like 200 pieces. There's like a huge logistics issue, like how to manage this inventory, how to make sure there's quality control. We had a lot of issues with sizing and the manufacturer, all these little things that really could kill a business in the beginning because, you know, pretend you order shirts and they come in and it says it's a medium. And so you sell it to a customer as a medium, but then they say like, this is huge. And you check it again. You're like, this is like, oh, extra large. Wow. And they got marked as a medium. And you don't know this until you go through the hurdles. You would always expect, hey, if my manufacturer sold me something as a medium, it should be a medium, right? But these are issues that I had to deal with and figuring out like supply chain to make something more consistent, especially in the first year. I didn't have any issue selling products because it was so hot. Yeah. And a lot of customers wanted it. But the pressure of them wanting to have the product like now. Right now. Exactly. Like the fad is like right now. And at one point I remember I sold like 30 or 40 pre-orders because I expected that week all my inventory would be there, but it was not there. And I had 30 or 40 pre-orders that were already done, ready for me to ship out. And I did not have any inventory ready on hand. And what it was missing a neck tag. And no manufacturer around me was willing to sew on these neck tags for me. So I sewed on 200 neck tags by myself. Okay, I don't know how to sew. I don't know how to sew, and I had to learn how to sew. And I was sitting at my mom's house, you know, 7 hours a day sewing on neck tags just to fulfill these 40 orders and like plus the other ones that I was hoping to get. And I thought to myself, like, I don't think I can do this business because I can't figure out this small problem. Like it's not working. Like, how can I run a business when my inventory supply is so tumultuous? Right. It was such a headache and stressful. And I was like, I can't keep going like this. And that was when I realized like, oh, business is not so glamorous. Sometimes there's a side that no one sees and you can't disappoint your customers. After that, what did I change? I expanded my idea of what I thought a supply chain was to be bigger scale. So I worked with bigger manufacturers where I would have more customization, where like doing small things like that is easy for them and they could just build it in. So I've made it more streamlined. Got it. So then my next question would be, how did you find these manufacturers? It was really difficult in the beginning because in the beginning you go online and you look for these resources like Alibaba. There's a lot of small scale businesses that will they'll make something we call blanks in the clothing brand, which is where we sell apparel that it's like blank. And what you can do is you can take it to any print shop or you can print on it yourself and you can make it something more custom. Right. But it's still not to the level that a real business that's growing would want because they can't manage that much inventory, they can't give you that much customization. I started looking at Alibaba and I was testing manufacturers. Okay. And the way you test is you message a bunch of them and you also have to know the lingo, MOQ stands for minimum order quantity, right? You have to know turnover time. You have to be very explicit with the material that you want, right? If you're not careful, they're going to give you the cheapest thing that they possibly can for the maximum price. Right. And so that's why you want to get a price quote from many people with as explicit of a description as you possibly can. Yes. And also make sure to invest reasonably. With each manufacturer, pretend you spend $50, $100 on a sample. You don't want to immediately invest thousands into into a company if you're not sure that they can really deliver on it, which is really dangerous.
And you were an entrepreneurship major while you were here?
Yes, I was.
Baruch. So did that kind of help too? You were learning certain business courses or entrepreneurship courses that might have aided this process? Or do you feel like you kind of did more trial and error through learning through your own experience?
I love the fact that Baruch entrepreneurship is not just about preaching to you about entrepreneurship. A lot of entrepreneurship classes, they're a lot more hands-on. They will always say go find your own experience, start your own business. We want you to take it and go apply it. We want you to create your own startup and pitch it. And I feel without that pressure, maybe I wouldn't be as willing to try and to go try out these ideas myself because, there's no one really doing small businesses like that.
Yeah. You're doing the drawing yourself and you're doing all the research yourself. Where has there been any support outside of just you?
Yeah, I've hired interns, other college students as interns, short-term internships. And I feel when they're part of it, they learn a lot about what goes behind the scenes of manufacturing, specifically since that's the core of my business, as well as marketing and learning what it takes to keep a business sustainable long term. For me, I think a lot of businesses will die before the point that I'm at, right? They'll just get burnt out or the business logistics don't work out or operations, but whatever the case is, they usually can't last as long as I did. Right. And the reason why I'm able to last so long is, of course, there are slower times, but for me, I'm always adapting and I'm never going to stick to one idea. And if it's not working, I'll keep trying it. I will always pivot. As soon as I notice there's a better way of doing it, immediately next round, it'll be better. If you do that, then what happens is that your customers have trust with you. They have this expectation every time Tiffany comes out with something, it's going to be better. It's going to be better quality. It's going to have more detail. It's going to be more thoughtful.
Based on quality, I remember those hoodies. They were so soft. Everybody was touching them. So soft.
We've upgraded even more now.
Really?
Yes. We incorporate more functionality. The zippers, we do hidden zippers. These are small details we can do for our customers because it doesn't cost that much on manufacturing wide. Okay. But if you look around in the market, no one's doing that for you. Exactly. So we look for opportunities like that where we know that a customer who buys it and wears it, let's say you pay $70, $80 for a hoodie. On the market, there's other hoodies that are good quality, but do they come with hidden zippers? Do they come with these details? Is it a fit? Is it really good? Etc. And that's where we think we can excel because it doesn't cost that much on the manufacturing. It's really a matter of how thoughtful we are during the design process.
Right. And these modifications that you're kind of enhancing your products, are you surveying your customers or are you just hearing maybe there's a review somewhere that you happen to see and then you're oh, let's just change it?
We will combine it. We will hear reviews and the reviews will be oh, this part is itchy. Okay, then great. Next batch, we're going to iterate it and figure out a different way of applying it so that it'll be better quality. It won't be itchy. Or, for example, the zipper thing, it is just something that I personally would like to see in a product. And, I'm a consumer, right? If I'm a consumer, I think, oh, this is something that will only add to the enjoyment of the product.
Right.
Then those are the things that we try to incorporate because I love to surprise the customers. I want them to feel oh, I know I bought a hoodie, but I didn't expect it to be that. And that's what really makes a brand special and memorable. more memorable, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's why they'll choose you over somebody else for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what has been like your proudest moment in the past 5 years? Because we're almost at 6 for 5.
Around 2 years ago, I thought about closing Duckingnice.
Oh, wow, no.
Yes. And that's because I went and I got a job as a project manager, and I worked like an actual job because I wanted to see what it was like. And they said, oh, like your entrepreneurship quality will be highly valued, right? And I was like, okay, that's great to hear. And I took it. And I just remember working and thinking, like, this is not really what I want. I know what I care about. And of course, in this job, I can make money and, have, what I had people working under me because I was a manager, and I could have a lot of the things that I thought would make me happy. Right. And those things didn't really make me happy. And for me, it was just coming to the realization, like, you need to be locked in on something. You have to have a dream. Like all the stuff that I just said, that's difficult to do. Like, how do you optimize your business when you're in it? It's so difficult and annoying. And honestly, why would you want to change if something's working already?
Yeah.
Why would you change, right? And that is what really kills a business, is like not having fresh air, not having fresh ideas. Exactly. And that was what was happening to me. And when I decided, like, no, I don't want to work a corporate, not that I hate corporate, but it's just something that I feel that I am looking to do something else with my life.
Right.
And when I decided, like, oh, I want to really optimize my business and I want to see what it could really become. When I really focus on it and I put my heart into what I'm doing, that is when I feel the most proud of myself. Yeah. And so when I do products like this, where I think like I've done all I can, like there's no stone left unturned. I've tried every color combination. I've tried every fabric. I thought about every possible way I could tweak this. And now it's like a product and it's here and consumers love it and it's selling out. Like, to me, that is just a testament to like all the hours that no one sees of me, like editing it, of me arguing with manufacturers, of me like waiting for the product and all these things. Like, it all makes it worth it.
So based on the things that you just mentioned, which is the item or the one thing that you spend the most time on? Is it going back and forth with the manufacturers? Is it like creating the sketches multiple times? Like, what is, like, if you're like, hey, out of this whole thing, I spend maybe 30% or 50% on this?
Yeah, it's going to be the back and forth with the manufacturers. And also through that process, we will come up with new ways to tweak it as well.
Okay.
But that usually takes the longest because you just saw me do a sketch. It took me
so
like
quick.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
But then for me to turn that into tech pack, maybe a day's worth. For me to go back and forth with the manufacturers, we're talking about months. Because it goes from making one product to making hundreds. And so they turn hundreds, okay. And then I also have to make sure that everything else is arriving at the same time for the manufacturers. Because other than the product, you have the hang tag, you have the bag, you have the packaging, you have woven, stickers, whatever else you want to do that's custom. It all has to line up on this production schedule, basically, to arrive to your house at the same time.
Are all of the items being sent directly to you or from the customers, from the manufacturer?
No, it's directly from me.
Directly from you. So you also have to package those things as well.
So because that way we can maintain quality control.
Got it.
Because you don't want to trust the manufacturer is going to ship it the way they said they would. They don't care. They've already been paid. So you want to make sure that you receive it, you can check the quality, because a manufacturer is not someone you work with one time. In a good business where your business is thriving, it is someone you work with every day. It's someone that you work with and you're not just giving them like a few $100s, and the mistake that they make is not just for one product. It's for hundreds, if not thousands of products. Can you imagine one defect on a shirt? You're like, okay, that's fine. Like, it's my shirt, it's okay. But thousands of shirts?
Yeah.
Okay, like now you have to have a certain level of trust and quality with the manufacturer.
Got it. What is right now, what is the item that is like selling off the shelves the most? Or
it has to be my bread duck.
Oh, that is so cute.
Yes, the back says, let's get that bread.
Let's get the bread. And that's unisex.
The front also has embroidery like this. It's a mini one.
Okay. Oh, so that was the back of it.
Yes, this is the back and this is the front. Awesome. This sells like absolute hotcakes. You wouldn't imagine. I've sold almost 1,000 of these.
Why do you think people love it so much, that one particular item?
I think they love a lot of designs, but this one specifically because it is a combination of what I do best. And when I designed it, I thought like, oh, I cooked with this one. Like, I know, like, after you've been in business for so long, you kind of have a feeling like, oh, this is something that customers will love versus something customers like don't really care about. And for me, this is like the perfect blend of that, where it's like something that I love. I love like meme culture, but I don't want it to be too meme.
Right.
I want it to be a little classy. I want it to be something more wearable.
And it's simple.
Yeah, it's simple, it's subtle, it's well designed. The proportions of it are really good. Like, it's not like a super big design.
Right.
And it just has the right amount of like quirk.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it's like the right amount. And I feel like people, when they see it, they don't need to know all the details that I put into it, but they can feel it.
Right.
You know, all together, they're like, oh, this is well put together. This is really high quality. The design, it really resonates with me. All these things are going to urge a customer to buy. Like, it arrived to my house, it sold out within 2 days.
2 days?
Yes. And it didn't come back until a month later. It's moments like this where it's like a collaboration between me and what I think customers want, and customers going, yeah, I really want that. That's what I really want. And it's just so special.
What do you envision Duckingnice in the next like 5 years? Like, do you see any partnerships where you kind of like doing collaborations with other brands and whatnot?
I would like to do collaborations, but before I do collaborations, I do want to be better established as a brand, because when you do collaborations, it's very easy to give up what makes you special and unique in service of what the other brand wants you to be. You know, and so it's like, pretend a very strong brand wants to come and collab with you. You may lose some of what makes us Duckingnice in the collab, you know? And for me, I do think that I want to do collaborations, but it has to be with the right brand, and it has to be at a time when Duckingnice is ready for it.
So as of right now, if you were trying to describe Duckingnice to someone who isn't a customer yet in 3 words, what were the 3 words?
3 words?
Yes.
I think Duckingnice is full of personality.
Full of personality. I like that.
Yes.
Yes.
And what else? I think Duckingnice is thoughtfully designed.
Thoughtfully designed. Nice.
And I would like to say it's human.
It's human.
And it's also because the duck, it's not, a lot of people think it's because I have an obsession with ducks, but it's actually because before I did Duckingnice, I was a longtime artist. So I've been a traditional artist for over 15 years of my life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And for me, Duckingnice was my way of being creative in a not pressure way. Like, because fine art can have a lot of pressure. There's a lot of demands on what fine art is. And for me, Duckingnice is my way to play and be human.
What's one piece of advice you want to share with a student? It could be anyone who's an artist or not an artist, or who just has an idea and when they want to do something. What would you say would be like if they wanted to start a business?
If they just wanted to start anything.
Start anything.
I think that initially when you start a business, it's very exciting. And it almost feels like you're living a movie, like you're living a dream. You feel like, oh, you're a CEO, you're a startup, you're a founder. It's so special. And then when problems start happening, it is a really pivotal point, which really determines whether you really are made of what it takes or if you're not. And or maybe it's not the right idea for you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the truth of the matter is that it's going to get difficult. It's going to get so hard. You're going to come up into problems that you never thought could be a problem, and it is. And it's going to be up to you to guide it, because no one's going to solve these problems for you. If you want to watch your business grow, you're going to have to be the one to see those problems, diagnose them, treat them, and keep trying again, even if it fails. I think business, especially if you're one person, your business is extremely reflective of who you are. Unhealthy business means that you've thought very carefully about, what does my business do? What services does it provide? How does the profit work out? And it has to be profitable, and it can't be a little bit profitable. It has to be very profitable to account for the losses that you're going to take, you know?
And stress.
Exactly, and the stress, right? Like, you can't do it for minimum wage.
Right.
You can't run a business on minimum wage. I've seen people do it, and it's just soul crushing.
Yeah.
It's soul crushing. And to charge an amount that you think you should be charged, and to operate your business with a certain standard, shows that you are strong as an individual as well. Like, it starts with self-growth and building.
Right.
To give you a fun story, before I thought that the cheaper I go, the more customers I'll get. This was like an idea that I had before I started my project manager job. But I thought, hey, maybe if my product is cheaper, we will get more customers. So I tried it, and my sales have never been so low.
Whoa.
At a low price, you perceive your business and your products to be low quality and to be not worth it. Even though, like, you think, oh, it's worth it, and it's the same product. But if I price it lower, customers will not value my product more. They don't care more. It doesn't incentivize sales. What really incentivizes sales, I increase my prices way higher. And it blew up my sales like crazy.
Wow.
Because I knew when I put my prices higher, I thought, and I promised myself, we're not going to do cheap stuff. We're going to do quality. We're going to put in thoughtfulness, because customers are now paying paying more money. They're paying top dollar for these things. We cannot do it the way we used to do it, which is just thinking, hey, it's a good deal, you know?
Yeah. That's interesting. I would think, and especially because you were at the beginning, you were targeting college students. So you would think college students are like, hey, I can't afford like a $50 hoodie. So they will want something cheaper. But surprisingly, they wanted to spend more money.
No, they want to spend more because it's not just about the money that you spent.
Right.
I feel like consumers are much smarter now. If you want a cheap option, there's a million cheap options. And if you want something custom and special, it is almost inevitable that you should pay for it.
Correct.
But when you pay for it, what value are you getting out of it? If what I value, like what I think my value is, exceeds that amount, you will not only be willing to pay it, but you'll feel happy for paying it because there's plenty of brands that will pay even more for less.
Back to like the customization of the packaging, because you're doing that personally. Is there any like cool things that you do when you're packaging items to send to the customers to make them feel special and thoughtful?
Yes. So that is one of the ideas that we had, is to increase the overall brand experience. And so one thing that we do for the past 2 years is we do something called custom envelopes. And so whenever your order comes, instead of just like a piece of paper taped on top, you know, like thanks for the order, we do a custom envelope like this, which is seasonal. Cute. And it gets increasingly custom, by the way, every time we do it. So this one has a custom inside print of a watermelon, and then the front has our mascot of the season.
That's so cute.
Yes. And it is something that's very collectible. When you open it, you will feel just an essence of what makes us Duckingnice. And I know that no other brand could do this.
You change them. So it's like maybe 1 month you're doing this, another you're doing another fruit.
So far we do it every season.
Oh, okay.
But ideally we do want to do it every month. But since it's all on me, it's kind of annoying to like balance all that logistics. So we do it every season because it's pretty enjoyable as a seasonal thing.
Yeah.
Thinking about how frequently people repurchase, they usually do purchase like once within a season.
Okay.
So ideally, if you shop once every season or like half a year, you should be able to collect.
Nice. At least 4.
Yes. And it's something that you can keep, and it's just like very customizable. I feel like it's not something that you would throw out.
Right. You wouldn't, especially because it's cardstock paper, right?
It's on really nice quality paper. It's very luxurious. It's very custom. And you know that every time you order, most likely you're going to get a different envelope.
Nice. And people probably re-gifted that too.
Yeah, they'll re-gift it. They'll keep it. And I also put like a message, which is our motto. It changes. So this one is more life, more everything nice. Duckingnice.
Nice. Aww.
Yeah. So this is like the type of thoughtful stuff that we do. Yeah. And we don't promote it either. It's just something that when you order and it arrives at your door and you open it and you're like, I thought I just bought a regular hoodie from a regular brand. No, it's something special. And it's something that keeps us memorable to customers.
By the way, who are your potential customers? Who is your target audience now that you've graduated?
I think a lot of our customers are like young adults.
Young adults. Okay.
Young adults.
All right. So Gen Z.
Like we have college students, but the college students gotta have a little bit of budget. You know?
Correct. Have a work study job.
Have a little bit of a budget. Yeah.
To those customers, how can they get in contact with you? Like, what platforms are you on? What is the handle?
Instagram at Duckingnice, and we are on TikTok at Duckingnice, and we are on the website Duckingnice.com.
Duckingnice.com.
Yes.
Awesome. What is something that you've learned about yourself throughout this whole process?
I used to be a person who doesn't like to fail, and I hate to see anything that I do like not be successful. And that comes from a long line of perfectionism of doing things, and it's always really come easy to me most things that I wanted. And business really taught me to humble myself, especially. And it was in business, you really have to be at service to other people. It's never selfish. Like if you're selfish in business, it's over. The game is done, you know? And for me to not be selfish, and for me to put myself in the shoes of my customers and to really think deeply about what I can do to be of service to others. That is what I learned about myself.
Well, thank you so much, Tiffany, for giving yourself of service to others. And it was great talking to you today.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, I gotta seize the moment. Yeah, I gotta stand the test.